What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my YouTube page, The World of I, who is I, me, Leon. Now, as many of you know, I just started this YouTube page, and the primary reason I decided to create this YouTube page was just to share my inner world with the outer world, to share my experiences so that other people can actually take something from them, or maybe they can actually just see that they can relate with things that I have to talk about, to let them know that they are not alone. Now, experience that I have is being a young caregiver, an experience that I feel that so many can relate to, but it's not really spoken much about. There's not much awareness on the amount of young caregivers in America and around the world. Now, as many of you know, I was caregiving for my mother up until she passed. She passed earlier this November, and I did do a video kind of venting and speaking about that experience. And if you haven't seen it and you're interested in seeing it, I'll put it in the description below. Now, did you know, according to the National Alliance for Caregiving and the United States Hospital Fund Young Caregivers in the USA, that 1.4 million children from age 8 to 18 provide care for adult relatives, 72% are caring for parents or grandparents, and 64 live in the same household as their care recipient. Now, even though many of these kids aren't the primary caregiver for their adult relative or just relative, it could be a sister or a sibling, that's still a lot of kids, and that's not even counting the young adults between 18 and 28 that may not have the same resources as somebody caregiving in their 40s, for maybe just because their parents are elderly. In my time while caregiving for my mother, I kept thinking to myself, how many other kids are going through the same thing that I'm going through, and how many other kids and young adults probably have it worse than me, or they've been caregiving much longer than I have, or they're still caregiving to this day. So when I went on the internet looking for resources and maybe possibly finding other kids and teenagers that are going through the same thing I'm going through, it wasn't too much out there. I guess just because of being a young adult and just having to deal with the world and not really wanting to speak on these certain things for whatever reason. I know we all have our reasons. I had my reasons. When I realized this, actually this week, I figured that what I was going to do with this YouTube page is I want to dedicate a portion of this YouTube page to young caregivers, and that's essentially me making videos on what maybe more practical things, maybe just the logistics of actually caregiving, or maybe if you find yourself as a young adult and all of a sudden you've been given the responsibility of being a power of attorney and having to make some tough decisions in a short amount of time, or maybe just giving videos of words of encouragement for young caregivers, or just simply just sharing my experiences and some stories that I may have that you feel like you could relate to, so that you feel like you're not alone. I've also decided to create a private Facebook group page entitled Message to a Young Caregiver. The purpose of the page is for young people and also young adults who are caring or coping for ill or disabled family members. And also for those that for young people that may have been caregiving for a family member that has passed away. And basically the page will simply be a platform for expression, words of encouragement, and to just uplift each other and just to be there for each other. Because I know during the time of caregiving for somebody, it's very hard to find people that can relate to that experience. And that's another reason I decided to make this private Facebook group, to essentially so you can find people that you can actually relate to. Lastly, just to bring awareness to this hidden demographic of kids all over the United States and young adults all over the United States that are caregiving and taking on such a huge responsibility at such a young age. Because I think back and I say, what if I had been more open with this experience through my time of caregiving and just coping with my mother being sick? How many people could have connected with that were going through the same things, and we could have been there for each other? And so I think that's a huge thing, because I think that people are the greatest resources that you have in life, and humans have been on this world for too long for you to feel like you're the first one to go through a certain experience, or that you'll be the last one to go through that experience, which is definitely not true. Now, lastly, I want to close this video out by giving my first message to a young caregiver. Now, during your time of caregiving or even coping with the death of a relative at a young age from an illness or whatever it may be, you're going to get a lot of people that's going to tell you how you should be and what you should feel. But what I'm here to tell you is who you are. You are brave, you are courageous, you are wise, and you already are strong. If you find yourself being a young person and also caregiving, you gotta also understand that there's no such thing as a bad day. It's just simply a day with lessons to be learned. And once everything is said and done, I promise you that you'll walk with a certain internal strength that many won't ever understand. And that's something that you have to take from the experience that you find yourself in at the given moment. Now, if you are a young person and you find yourself caregiving for a relative, as I said, go ahead and go into the description of this video and go to the private Facebook group entitled Message to a Young Caregiver, and go ahead and ask to join so we can build this community of young people to support each other. And if you know somebody that is young and caregiving, go ahead and share this video with them so they can also join the group and also subscribe so they can stay tuned. And I definitely hope that this video can encourage other young people to talk more about this, because I feel like it's a very huge demographic that's just hidden, and I know that it would make things go a little bit better if they knew that they had somebody else out there their age or within their age range that's going through the same thing. So again, like, subscribe, go to the Facebook page, Message to a Young Caregiver. Go ahead and ask to join. I kept the group private so it can just kind of be a space for young people to really collaborate and, like I said, encourage, uplift, and also express themselves. So there it is. Peace.